This video was voted by the Patreon members, so thank you guys so much. If you also want to vote for what videos I make in the future, please definitely check out my Patreon. I'll leave the link down in the description. Hey guys, yeah, another finger here on YouTube. So you know there would always be some outdated religious beliefs that just don't fit in the way we live nowadays, but when a large group of people still strongly believe in them and still insist on following them, it could create quite some problems in the modern society that doesn't just affect them, but also everybody else who are also living in and sharing the same society. So this is exactly what this video is going to be about. I'm going to share with you some quite outdated religious beliefs that a lot of Taiwanese people are still believing in them, which have been causing a lot of troubles in Taiwan right now that are hard to ignore. So you know that the religion in Taiwan is strongly based on Chinese culture, so I'm actually wondering if some of these problems are also happening in modern China or any other countries that follows the Chinese culture. I'm not sure about that. Everything that I said today will be focusing on Taiwan and the situation in Taiwan only. But if some of these religious beliefs that I said and the problems they cause are also happening in your country, then please definitely leave a comment and let me know, because I would love to learn. So without further ado, this first religious belief has created quite a serious environmental problem and harm to the ecosystems in Taiwan. To put it shortly, it is the belief of releasing animals and pets back into the nature. So what they would do is that they would buy lots of different animals from the pet stores, and I'm talking about like hundreds, thousands of them, and release them somewhere, like a random mountain or even sometimes in a park right in the middle of the city. Most of the time, it's not even the animal's natural habitat. They do this because their religious belief tells them that this is helping the animals. By setting them free, they're doing good things and thus will be rewarded in the later life. But of course, any sane person would be able to tell that this could, in contrast, significantly harm the environment and the animals themselves. Lots of animals have actually already died because they were released into somewhere that is not suitable for them to live in. Also, since these people sometimes release dangerous animals such as snakes in an area full of residents around, it poses danger to the people living in that area as well. And of course, not to mention, if they were to release an exotic species and just let them run around in random places, it would also become a threat to the native species. And last but not least, when they're buying animals from the pet stores, naturally the pet stores would have to make up for the amounts they sold by catching more animals and breeding more animals. So the goal of this event is to save animals, but they're not actually solving the problem in its core, but quite the opposite. By doing this, they're actually perpetuating the problem. And quite ironically, the pet store would be the one benefiting the most out of this. The second harmful religious belief is about ancestor worshipping and the gender inequality issue it creates. It also involves tricking other people into marrying your dead child, but I'll get into more of that later. So you might remember this from my previous A Day in My Life video, but we do this morning and evening worshipping twice a day if the family tablet shrine is in our house. The family tablet shrine basically writes all of your ancestors' names on it and is used for worshipping all of your ancestors. So the thing is, traditionally girls are married into their husband's family. This means that their names will appear on the husband's family's tablet shrine after death instead of their original family where they were born. So the first problem this creates is that a lot of the more conservative parents will not treat their daughters as part of the family, because in their concept, she's going to go off marrying someone else and belong to another family. So even a lot of Taiwanese people my age have more or less witnessed parents treating their kids unfairly, with boys getting more privileges than their sisters. I was personally lucky enough to have never experienced it firsthand, but I have definitely heard a lot of stories from some of my friends. And also because of this religious belief, it used to be a huge problem when a girl doesn't get married, because this means that nobody will worship her when she dies like the other ancestors, and she will be abandoned and left alone in the afterworld. And here's where people take this whole thing into the next fucking level. So when a girl dies young without being married, her parents, not wanting her to become a lost soul because she's not on any family tablet shrine, would try to find a man to marry her, but you know, without her being alive. So how they would achieve this is by putting some of their dead child's nails or hair into a red envelope and leave it in a random place on the street. And whoever picks up the red envelope will have to marry the girl, or more precisely, the ghost of the girl. So it's really super creepy. Thankfully, this tradition has become less and less commonly seen nowadays, especially in big cities like Taipei, and the role has also been changed so that the daughters can also be included in the family tablet shrine of the family she was born in. But if you ever travel to Taiwan, definitely still be careful not to pick up any red envelope if you see one on the streets. The next one is air pollution problem caused by incense burning, paper money burning. So basically in Taoism, it is believed that you can send anything to the outer world, to your ancestor and God, by burning them. So for example, if you want them to have a house in their afterlife, you can buy one of those houses made of paper and burn it. And it's believed that it is the way to give a house to your ancestor. Another very common thing to burn is paper money, because it's believed that if you don't burn them, your ancestor will have no money in afterlife. So you should do it regularly even. But it definitely creates a lot of pollutions. But among everything, the most common burning will be incense, because if you're super religious, you need to burn them on a daily basis. So since nowadays the government and the public temples themselves are indeed trying to solve this problem, they're always encouraging people to avoid burning things if possible. For example, traditionally speaking, 3 incenses is the best number when you do your worshipping. But now there's this rule in a lot of temples where they're either only allowing each person to take 1 incense, or they're banning the incense altogether so that not as many incenses will be burnt. So the final one, instead of a Chinese religion, is actually from the Western religion, and it's basically the same problem that has been happening all over the world, which is homophobic behavior and public hate speeches against LGBT rights from some of the Christians and Catholics. So if you didn't know, Taiwan legalized same-sex marriage recently in 2019, making us the first country in Asia to ever legalize same-sex marriage. But before that, it was of course a really controversial topic in Taiwan for quite a while. And during that time, several religious groups in Taiwan worked together and established an organization called Family Guardian Coalition that basically fights against LGBT rights and spreads a lot of false knowledges about same-sex marriage. They specifically targeted towards older generations who don't have access to the internet and thus cannot get information from the outside world, and therefore did successfully influence quite a considerable amount of people. Even to this day, after same-sex marriage has been legalized, the standpoint of a lot of these religious groups remains unchanged and continues to vocalize against LGBT rights. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and please subscribe for more Taiwan related content. And I would definitely love to know if there are also some harmful religious beliefs that are causing troubles in your country, so please leave a comment and let me know. I would totally love to learn. And again, please check out my Patreon if you're interested. If you would like to support me there, it would be greatly appreciated. And I will see you in the next video.